Please join Central Missouri State University's Office of Alumni Relations and Development as we honor Ms. Subashini Nadarajah, Mr. Jerry Osborn, and Colonel Bill Parrish, recipients of CMSU's 2005 Distinguished Alumni Award. 2005 Distinguished International Alumnus Subashini Nadarajah came to CMSU in 1991 to pursue an education in graphic design. Suba, as she is known to her friends, grew up half a world away from Warrensburg, Missouri.
Life in Malaysia as I was growing up was challenging, especially being a minority in an Islamic country. But Malaysia is such a harmonious country when I was growing up, and it still is. It was great. I had lots of multiracial friends. It's just a multicultural land, just enriched everything that I do today in terms of art and design and communication.
Nadarajah, along with her brothers and sister, thrived in a very supportive, creative family. Her late grandfather was an architect. Her late father was both an accountant and a talented artist. Nadarajah's mother is an avid gardener and has authored 2 cookbooks.
I kind of always loved architecture and design and art, so it somehow kind of unconsciously seeped into my blood stream, but I was never interested in it until later part of my life when I had this epiphany in a grocery store. And I was so drawn to cereal boxes, and I was wondering who designed these amazing cereal boxes. And I studied about where these things came from and decided, oh, there is such a thing as graphic design.
This curiosity soon led to her first attempts at publication design.
I used to cut out my dad's Reader's Digest books and make little collages and journals and books, and we kind of recreate Reader's Digest in my own way.
Nadarajah studied at the Malaysian Institute of Art and gained a year of professional experience. Next, she decided to continue her education in the United States. She came to CMSU with fellow artist and best friend, Michael Ong.
So we were rather picky about the syllabus that we were looking at, and we really liked the syllabus in CMSU, wrote to them, and the thing that was amazing about coming to CMSU, it felt like home, because the people in CMSU, like Professor Lynch, Neva Wood, Chris Willis, all these guys felt like family.
Suba was such a bright light. Not only was it fun to teach her, but it was fun to watch the dynamic between she and the other students in the classes. She came with such talent and an outwardness to her personality that people gravitated to her, and she set the bar high enough that most of the students in the classes, well, we have something to attain here by following her as our role model, and so in that way we were sorry to see her go when she finally graduated.
Lynch was not only a professor, but a mentor who helped Nadarajah discover herself as a designer.
John Lynch immediately was this warm, wise, father-like figure, and in terms of father-like in the sense that he was the father of art and design for me.
Nadarajah's talent blossomed at CMSU, where she earned both undergraduate and graduate degrees in commercial art, with an emphasis in graphic design. She was selected in 1994 as the College of Arts and Sciences Outstanding Graduate Student. In 1997, she began working as an art director and designer for Bernstein Rain, one of the nation's top advertising firms.
I've won several awards, regional awards, international awards, and national awards, recognized for TV and print. And it was all simply because I think not because I'm a smart or brilliant designer, I think I'm a unique designer, and that is really important.
Her recent work includes television ads for 2 of the world's largest marketers, McDonald's and Walmart.
So I used to miss breakfast every morning. I couldn't get up, so I got a rooster. Worked out pretty good. you go again. Again, you know, just, I'm up, so I'm getting up early. All right, there you go. Really early, but so is McDonald's. Now I'm a morning person.
Breakfast at McDonald's. It's worth waking up for.
My job is preparing for the unpredictable. I study earthquakes and volcanoes.
My name is Amy. I'm a seismologist.
Besides earthquakes, my life is pretty exciting because I just had my first baby.
I tickle your feet.
My son is very unpredictable. We have a lot of our own eruptions at home.
He's just a little human that's just this big, and it's amazing how much stuff we've already gone through.
It's nice to have the Walmart price be a constant in my life.
It's sort of a scientific decision to save money. It really adds up. And it's just the best thing that's happened in our lives.
In addition to working for America's corporate giants, Nadarajah finds pro bono work to be especially rewarding.
Absolute freedom is when you get to do pro bono jobs. Because number one, you're helping charity. And number two, you get to let go and release your creative outlet.
You would never choose to put your baby in harm's way. Would you? Immunize your baby. Give life a shot.
Another creative outlet is spending time with her longtime friend and fellow design professional, Michael Ong.
Michael Ong is an amazing artist. In fact, I get a lot of my inspiration just being with him. We love everything that is design. We take trips all around the nation and the world. We call our trips the art and design trips. And we just go, we don't invite anybody, it's just us, and we go and absorb art and just sit and talk about them.
In addition to career pursuits, she enjoys traveling and spending time with her dog Bina. She also cherishes time spent with her nephew Surya, who she calls a miracle baby, thanks to his recent recovery from kidney transplant surgery. Her mentor, professor, and friend John Lynch sees a very bright future for his former student.
Suba, I am so proud of you. When we nominated you for this award, we knew you were going to get it. We just felt it in our hearts that you would. You are a great success at what you do, and you're a great role model for everybody around you, and you're a great human being. And I am just so pleased at the success that you've had and that you will continue to have. Go, girl.
You gotta be bold, you gotta be brave. You're a design warrior. You are fighting, and you cannot be timid.
Part art director, graphic designer, painter, photographer, traveler, gardener, and cook, Subashini Nadarajah is living proof that being bold leads those with creative drive wherever they want to go.
I do want to thank people who believed in me from the very beginning, like my best friend, my mom and dad, my siblings, my instructors. And clients are the biggest thing because I deal with them every day. And McDonald's has been the most amazing client, I have to say, because they really believed in what I did, along with my partner, Tyler Hattery, who was the writer, and I did the visuals. It was just amazing to work with them.
Please join Central Missouri State University's Office of Alumni Relations in honoring 2005 Distinguished International Alumni Award recipient, Subashini Nadarajah. Service, a common theme, a compass and a motivation. Service, a one-word mission for a man who's devoted 4 decades of his professional and personal life to helping others. Jerry Osborn was born the youngest of 6 sons to a rural Max Creek, Missouri family.
I couldn't have asked for a more loving mother and father. And I was the youngest of 6 boys, and we grew up on a rock farm. And we had 160 acres, and we cultivated about 40. And we truly, as my wife Linda would tell you, it was like Little House on the Prairie because we weren't mechanized. I learned a great work ethic from my parents. I mean, you got up early and you worked, and we didn't get electricity until 1953, and so you went to bed when, you know, they talk about blackouts. We had one every day when the sun went down.
Osborn grew up admiring his older brothers and was convinced at an early age that attending college was in his future.
Dad had about a 4th grade education. as so many people back in that era did. You know, you stopped and went to work on the farm. Mother went through the 8th grade, but my father recognized the value of education, and I was his last shot, you know. And so from the time I started, I think probably talking, I knew I was going to college. Really didn't know what for, but probably because my father said I was going to college.
During high school, Osborn excelled in both academics and athletics and describes himself as a competitive person.
And so I wanted to be valedictorian in my class. Why? I don't know, just because that was a competitive edge. And so I jokingly say that, you know, because people will kid you about, well, there was only 21 in your class. And I say, yes, but somebody had to be number 1, somebody had to be number 21, and I chose to try to be number 1.
Being valedictorian resulted in an academic scholarship to Central Missouri State. This was important because a lawnmower accident severely injured his left foot, ending his commitment to another college on a basketball scholarship.
That little church I went to at that point in time took a love offering, as they called them in small communities, and came up with over $500 from poor families. And I looked in the mirror and said, you self-centered, egotistical, blah, 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 how dare you feel sorry for yourself? These people in this community love you so much that they want you to make something out of yourself. So get off your duff, don't feel sorry for yourself, and get in school.
Osborn worked his way through college and enjoyed his involvement as a member of Phi Sigma Epsilon fraternity. He graduated in 1966 with a BS/BA degree in marketing. He taught school for a few years in Clinton, Missouri, and was voted Outstanding Young Educator.
And so I've had a variety of sales jobs and marketing jobs. I've taught school and then spent a long stint, over 10 years, in banking. And to me, all of those has made me a very well-rounded person to do what I do today. And that is, I'm a hybrid in the behavioral health care field, in that I view the issues many times differently than my colleagues do.
His unique mix of education and professional expertise serves Osborn well as the CEO of Pathways Community Behavioral Health Care Incorporated of Clinton.
I was hired to be the executive director of an organization known as Community Counseling Consultants, which had been formed back in 1974, and ran a very small substance abuse program here in Clinton, about a 14-bed unit, did some outpatient services, and was actually housed in an old funeral home, a renovated funeral home. The setting was atrocious.
Under his direction, the once modest enterprise has grown significantly.
And from this 18 employees back in 1987, we now have 850, with the really very few offices, 7 or 8 outpatient offices back then. Now we have 34 outpatient offices, and we have services in 31 counties. We provide outpatient services both for adults and children, and that whole gamut for substance abuse and behavioral health care needs, including severely emotionally disturbed children. And then we have a 40-bed psychiatric hospital called Royal Oaks over in Windsor that became part of our organization in July of last year. And so that kind of completed our continuum of care. While I have been the band director, the orchestra director, that's all I have done, because it's those players that have created this marvelous organization.
Over the years, Osborn has devoted himself to volunteer work for countless civic, charitable, and church organizations, as well as serving on the local school board. The Sunrise Optimist Club in Clinton was one of his first service opportunities.
And I've always said that community service is nothing more than the rent you pay for the space you occupy on Earth. So in 1971, 2 years after I'd been in there, they wanted me to be president. And I said, you people are crazy. I just barely know the Optimist Creed. They said, no, you can do this. And I gotta tell you, it was a great year, it was a fun year. And so I've done had the opportunity to do a lot of neat things, whether it's been working with the United Methodist Church here in Clinton and building programs, serving on the school board.
One of the most rewarding experiences for Osborn was his appointment and service to the CMSU Board of Regents. Now called the Board of Governors, he served from 1989 through 1995 and was president in 1993. He also served on the CMSU Foundation Board and as an annual President's Society member. Osborn is Director Emeritus for both the Board of Governors and the CMSU Foundation. The only match for Osborn's intense devotion for career and civic causes is his love of family. He's always enjoyed the outdoors, especially with his brothers and his sons, Anthony and Matthew. In 1997, a big event marked a new chapter in his life.
A marvelous thing happened to me December 20th of 1997, and I married Linda Mooring, which brought to my family 3 wonderful children. And so collectively, we now have 5 children. We have an Anthony D., a Matthew Aaron, we have a Matthew Wade, we call him Daryl and Daryl, and we have a Clayton Thomas, and we have a Molly Shannon. And from that brood, we have the real important members of the family. We have 5 wonderful grandchildren. And I gotta tell you, being a grandpa is the neatest experience in the world. And so we're very, very, very blessed to have Lauren Grace, Landon Reese, Ethan Michael, Emma Catherine, and Maxwell Thomas.
For Jerry Osborn, the joys in life are simple: serving his fellow man and loving his family. He also cares deeply for his employees at Pathways and is constantly rewarded by the service he and his team provide.
I know that with this wonderful group of employees we have, that every day we intersect with people's personal histories, and there's no more important job than what we do, because we're about salvaging human potential. And every day I know that somebody's life is better. Some child is going to be better protected. Some adult is going to become going to work again, only because they came into one of our 34 offices and received that much needed help that they need in an underserved area.
Please join Central Missouri State University's Office of Alumni Relations in honoring 2005 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient, Mr. Jerry Osborn. For U.S. Marine Corps retired Colonel Bill Parrish, a life of service was a natural choice. The child of World War II veterans, he gained an appreciation for service at an early age.
I had a great childhood. I grew up in Middletown, New Jersey. And the time that I grew up, when you look at the greatest generation that was there, I really had some great role models. When I think about my relatives, my mom and dad both served in World War II. I was in scouting, active in scouting. That's probably where the first seed of service really got planted into me.
By the 8th grade, Parrish had 2 career aspirations: to be an FBI agent after serving as a Marine Corps officer. During high school, he was senior class president and an Eagle Scout. As he entered college, he sought out an institution with a strong criminal justice program.
And there weren't many schools back in 1967 that had degrees, but then there was this state school out in Warrensburg, Missouri, near Kansas City. And lo and behold, I was fortunate enough to get accepted into Central Missouri. And my mom and dad drove me out there in the fall of '67. We never visited the campus first. Drove up and found the dorm and dropped me off, and there my career began.
Parrish's time at Central Missouri brought one more important development when he met Becky Wolke, a fellow student from Kansas City.
I remember seeing my wife in the student union there a few times and said, boy, I'd sure like to figure out how to meet her. One night, I did get to meet her in an establishment downtown Warrensburg. She claims that was her first time she's ever been in there, Barney's. And I met her that night and asked her out, and that was kind of the beginning.
After graduation from Central Missouri State, Parrish embarked on a 28-year career in the United States Marine Corps. Anti-terrorism security would become the focus of Parrish's Marine career. A turning point was the 1983 Beirut, Lebanon bombing.
So the Marine Corps reorganized and created what they call Marine Corps Security Force battalions. We had one on each coast. We restructured again in 1994, I guess it was. We closed down the West Coast Battalion and we consolidated everything to the East Coast down at Norfolk, Virginia, where the headquarters was. I took command of that battalion in 1995. I had a little under 4,000 Marines assigned around the world. It was kind of a global organization, if you will.
Marines are world famous for their toughness, but they also possess big hearts. Parrish recalls a deployment to Honduras where his Marines unanimously decided to donate $500, the proceeds of their canteen fund, to a local orphanage.
It was a very, very memorable occasion because there was an old Honduran woman standing there and tears were flowing down from her face. And what she said was that the orphanage was not going to have any money for Christmas for the toys for the kids. And she had been praying since September that God would perform a miracle. And we were it. so it was just great.
Following nearly 3 decades in the Marine Corps, Parrish migrated to international anti-terrorism training and then to U.S. Customs. He began work at Customs shortly after 9/11, establishing the Office of Anti-Terrorism. Parrish's expertise soon attracted the eye of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary and former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge, who recruited him to DHS.
There's a network of professional relationships that you've established and credibility because of that experience you've established that enables you to get things done far more effectively than somebody that's just new to the task, maybe as competent, maybe as experienced, well that's rare, combination with Bill, but you don't have that the credibility. And so we were able to lean on that a great deal in order to get things done. Plus his tenacity.
Parrish also fulfilled his lifelong goal of working with the FBI as the DHS senior representative to the FBI headquarters.
The president created the Terrorist Threat Integration Center. We needed somebody over there that would champion our involvement, get us information, make sure the information we had would get to it. Bill laid the foundation, created the relationships, and moved on. He didn't work for the FBI, but frankly, he was my point of contact and worked on a day-to-day basis with FBI Director Bob Mueller.
Once Parrish was confident the groundwork had been established at DHS, he looked forward to a new phase in life, an opportunity to join the faculty of Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. His latest mission? To establish an undergraduate program in Homeland Security and emergency preparedness. The move to Richmond reunites Parrish with his parents, and his adult children live nearby. It also allows him to impart a lifetime of knowledge to a new generation of Americans he believes will continue to battle terrorism.
It's really encouraging to see the number of young men and women that have come to me now. How do I get into Homeland Security? How do I get into a job in dealing with Homeland Security? There's a calling out there of service. There's a lot to be said about service.
Choosing to serve his country has encroached on family time. He's quick to share the credit for his career success with his wife.
Becky has been my greatest friend. She's raised our 2 kids that we're very, very proud of. And as I mentioned earlier, we just finished celebrating our 34th wedding anniversary. And she's been the one that has really been standing there tall through all of this.
One of the biggest perks of Parrish's new career is being papa to his grandson Cullen.
We went and took my wife out to dinner at an Italian restaurant here, and they had a little combo playing downstairs, and I said to Cullen, I said, what kind of music is that? He said, that's jazz, Pop, that's jazz. Now, for a guy that's not even 3 years old yet, that says a lot about his sensing and his abilities. So great things for him. I'm very proud of him.
You count.
1, 2, 3, jump!
Whoa, good jump! When it comes to family, Parrish can count many who are CMSU alumni. Among them, he shared a special connection with his late father-in-law, Eugene Wolke.
His 2 sons graduated from Central Missouri State. Bill and Brent, both of their wives graduated from Central Missouri State, and as I mentioned, that's where I met Becky. So they both met their wives there. So Central Missouri State not only produces a great academic and educational program, but also gives you good spouses.
The Marine Corps has a famous motto, Semper Fidelis, or Semper Fi, a Latin phrase meaning always faithful. According to retired General Frank Labuti, they're words that perfectly describe his friend and fellow Marine, Bill Parrish.
Bill Parrish, in my eye, is always a guy who is a man of great honor, a man who has always cared for his people, whether they be the troops or his students or the folks with whom he associated with at the Department of Homeland Security. Bill is 1 in a million in terms of his ability to make a difference.
I think anybody that had a beer with him, played around a golf with him, or sat in a professional, worked with him in a professional capacity, would say he's a man of great integrity, a true patriot, very mission-oriented. If you tell me to do something, get out of my way and I'll get it done. And along the way, never lost his cool, always maintained a sense of humor, and got everything done that I think he set out to get done. That's a pretty good legacy. That's a pretty good lifetime.
Please join Central Missouri State University's Office of Alumni Relations in honoring 2005 Distinguished Alumni Award recipient, Colonel Bill Parrish.